I've always believed that motorcycles are like sex. When they're bad, they're still good. But when they're good, they are really good. Have you ever wondered what it is about modern classic motorcycles that is so attractive? Have you ever sat down and thought about it properly, analysed it, pulled it apart and come to a conclusion? I took delivery of the Interceptor on Monday morning and it rained continually for 2 days. Then Wednesday afternoon, the motorcycle gods took pity on me for a couple of hours. I didn't want to take my cameras with me. I didn't want to have to worry about filming for the channel. I just wanted to go out, ride the bike and enjoy it, and see if I could what it was about the Royal Enfield Interceptor that had reeled me in hook, line and sinker. Even with the constraints of running a new bike in, restricted to below 4,000 revs per minute, still in the process of bedding in brakes and tyres. An experience that, to be honest, I don't particularly enjoy. But in over 31 miles, until the weather started to break again and it was time to return home, everything sort of clicked into place for me. As gentlemen bikers of a certain age, we're constantly having phrases like born again biker or trying to recapture your youth thrown at us. Something that tends to grate on me because I've never really been off bikes. But in a way, that latter phrase is true. Recapturing our youth. What did we do in our youth? I'll tell you what we all did. We raced towards being adults as fast as we possibly could, because we saw adults doing their thing, and the way we saw it was that they had more freedom than we did. They had the money to do what they liked, when they liked, to go where they liked, whenever they wanted to. And instead of enjoying what we had, we raced headlong into that prison that is adulthood. Work, the mortgage, bills, raising a family, commitments that takes all your freedom away from you. They say that youth is wasted on the young. And it's true, because we spent a lot of our youth trying to grow up to be adults. Now, you get to a certain age where you realise that the rat race really isn't worth it, and that the work ethics that are battered into your brains from a young age are stealing your life away from you. Now, not everyone is the same, but those of us who had bikes in our youth and gave them up for family now want them back. Yes, we want to recapture our youth. There's nothing wrong with that. We want to go back to where we were before we stepped onto that treadmill. But why modern classic motorcycles, and especially why the Interceptor? We now live in a digital world. We can't go anywhere without being contactable. We can't go anywhere without being tracked. News and information is at our fingertips all the time, no matter where we are. We now live in a world where we're constantly being reminded that we need to keep up. We need to upgrade to the next new thing. The ultra high definition television, the robotic motor car that parks itself, and the latest cell phone that's better than the last one was because it's 1 nanosecond faster. It's a world of information and sensory overload. Our youths were different times. There were simpler times. There were no mobile phones. When we were out, we were out. No one could track us down. That was freedom. The ability to just get away and enjoy yourself. And the modern classic is, in our subconscious, a symbol of that freedom. And for many of us, that symbol has to be authentic. A high-tech motorcycle with all the bells and whistles covered in Tupperware isn't what we're looking for. We want something that looks, smells, feels and performs like the bikes of our youth. The world's roads are now nasty and congested. There are way too many vehicles on the road, and that's not an environment for a performance machine. I am of the honest opinion that in this day and age, a motorcycle of 80 horsepower or above is a bit pointless. It has performance that you simply cannot use. Triumph came very close with the Bonneville range, and for some time it has been the closest thing available to us. But looking back, it did fall short in some areas. The initial iterations of the air-cooled and water-cooled Bonnevilles brought us a bike that looked like a bike. It was made from metal, but still had more performance than was necessary, and more bells and whistles than you can shake a stick at. It was a sort of a halfway house, and in some ways it sort of missed the point. Part of the attraction to the modern classic motorcycle is that it already looks like a 50-year-old model, so the pressure on the owner to upgrade is removed. The original Bonneville was a 650, and even in my time your average bike ranged from about 500 to 750 cc's, a middleweight bike. Bikes bigger than a 750 were a rare thing even in the early 80s, yet once again bigger is better has been thrown at us, with bikes of 1200 cc's becoming commonplace. But those 1200cc bikes don't really give you anything extra. It's just a number, it's just extra weight and displacement. And manufacturers of the modern classic bikes have completely ignored that sweet spot where the original middleweight bikes sat. Now the marketing gurus at Royal Enfield have recognised this. Other bike manufacturers had swept the floor clear for them. A 650cc twin of just under 50 horsepower. For most of us that are convinced of the need to advance, bigger is better, faster is better, at first seems quite uninspiring. There's no gear position indicator, there's no traction control, it doesn't have heated grips, it doesn't have a fuel computer, and it doesn't have a ride-by-wire throttle. But what it does have is character. The proven provenance of a thoroughbred. Just a little bit more power than you really need, but not enough to get you into trouble easily. It's a flickable bike with fantastic quick handling. It's a thrill to ride, a pleasure to ride, confidence inspiring. It looks great and it sounds great, with nothing added into the recipe that isn't strictly necessary. I for one am a bit tired of the digital age, and what Royal Enfield have provided us with here is an analogue bike in a digital age, something that I think we've all missed. Some time ago, Royal Enfield released a promotional video for the Interceptor called Easy Got Back, and at first the title didn't make any sense to me, but that short video of about 2 minutes has had a record 39 million views. Why? Because Easy Got Back is exactly what's happened with the Interceptor. It's a bike that's designed to be easy on the eye, easy to ride and easy to maintain. It's a sensible sized middleweight bike that gives the rider just what he wants from the ride, without having a proliferation of things that he neither wants nor needs. In essence, the Interceptor 650 is a modern classic in its purest, truest form. That's why in the last few months, worldwide, the Interceptor alone has outsold every bike that Triumph has in its current range. And I mean its entire range, not just the Bonnevilles. The Interceptor is without a doubt a no-frills bike, but it fills a hole in the motorcycle industry market. It's the perfect commuter. It's sporty enough for a safe, spirited ride without feeling intimidating. And in my mind, with the right kind of luggage, this bike is going to make a great middleweight tourer. It's blatantly obvious that it ticks a lot of boxes for a lot of people. And Royal Enfield, I think, now are a force to be reckoned with. This is, after all, just their first attempt. Now, you may not all agree with what I've had to say in this video. This is just my take on why I think this bike is so appealing. Although I have a sneaky suspicion that there will be a lot of people out there that do get it completely. Now, before I go, there is one thing that keeps cropping up, and that is confusion over running motorcycles in the braking period. It does seem to be a procedure that confuses people. I do have in mind to go through that in a video in the next couple of weeks or so. to just explain how I've always run bikes in. Not a method as such, but just a procedure that has always seemed to work for me without problems. Let me know if that's something that you might be interested in. Once again, thanks for having the patience to watch this video. I hope you've enjoyed it and that you found it useful. If you have, please leave a like and subscribe to this channel. I will be back next week. I don't have a clue what I'm doing as yet, but until then, please ride safely and I'll see you soon.